Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. When we last left off, we have successfully gotten the dragon onto our team, and by that I mean we've made it so that the dragon can be successfully put on our team. And we got the situation with these dragon scales. We received them from Darastrix. Monkey D and Jenny each get one that would reduce their damage from fire attacks by 50%, while Darastrix currently is completely immune to fire attacks, because as Maddie Radata has pointed out in the Twitch chat, Darastrix is basically made of fire, so of course he'd be immune to it. Still though, I feel like making him completely immune to fire attacks might be a little bit too strong, because after all, the enemies we are fighting, both in this dungeon and the final dungeon, are using fire attacks, and the final boss will also be using fire attacks. So maybe a good idea to set it to 75%. Still better than the 50% of the individual scales. So that's what I'm gonna do. Speaking of health situations, I just remembered I kind of want to do something as a favor to the party here. For the player, rather. I'm going to make it so that after this cutscene, since the player did have to take a bunch of damage from the lava in order to get over here, I'll do the player a favor and restore all their HP. No fanfare or anything, it's just restored now. And with that, I was about to go into test play and play through the dungeon, but actually we need to do something very important. The very last thing in the dungeon, and that is get this treasure situation situated. So I need to go back into the town of Buttertown, because I'm going to copy paste one of the events there. I think I'm copying this one. Well, I better copy the script, actually. I don't have room to paste this, an event. I'm out of events for Inferno. So, I'm gonna go ahead and paste this script in here. I didn't copy it properly. Well, in that case here, we'll do this the other way then. We will copy the event. No, not start point. Paste. Come to think of it, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a snapshot with Darastrix. At the very least, maybe a snapshot where yeah, we'll place a snapshot here. This will be a snapshot that appears during the ending. As for over here, so got a blimp. Oh, let me get rid of all this text. Got a B. This episode is brought to you by the letter B. And by the numbers 9. This program is brought to you thanks to viewers like you. Alright, so with that in mind, we need to actually make a blimp. It's going to be kind of like the boat. So we'll go ahead and copy paste that. Except this thing instead of being a boat, it is obviously a blimp. And therefore, it is a blimp. A very important item to have. The way the blimp works, if we go back to the field map, the world of Steve. So we're going to eventually go to a castle that is situated right here on the floating island. But we're not going to connect it with a path. The blimp, the purpose of the blimp is it allows you to traverse to any place visible on the world map. In other words, it has to have been unlocked, regardless of whether there's a path connecting to it. It's kind of an interesting feature. I have not actually seen any RPG Maker games that use it, but it is kind of an interesting feature. It also uses a graphic that is completely exclusive to the blimp item. I mean, there's a ship character graphic that you can use whenever you're not on the world map, but there's no blimp character graphic. So, back to this event. We're going to add the blimp to the inventory. Not going to add a thief. We are going to add a switch. Even though this is a treasury event, I'm going to add a switch so that... No, wait. No, I don't get... No, I'm thinking something else. No, we can just have a condition for... if we happen to have the blimp in our inventory. We don't need a switch. So we can just be all, hey, do they have the blimp? Yes? Then this page would trigger. Okay. Now, do I want any dialogue? After all, Jenny was really wanting to come here. So, sure. Ooh, I have an idea. Okay. Hooray. This. What I wanted. Now we can fly to the sun. And we're just going to go ahead and have a three-way choice. And just to save a little bit of time, and all three options are basically going to be Screech. Because I'd like to have a little bit of fun with these options. And let's see here. Do I want her to kind of have a response? Some sort of response would probably be... Okay... Fine. You don't have to come with me. And I can't save memory by changing to a separate page, so... because there's only one page for treasures. Out of curiosity, can I, like, do that? I could. Well, that has potential. Let me see if that means that I can still have the three-way choice even though I took out the remaining options. We'll just cheese our way over here because I just want to check this. So, assuming we already got the hammer. Hooray, this is what I wanted. Now we can fly to the sun. Screech, screech, screech. Nope, that doesn't work. We actually need the three-way choice to be properly scripted. So, let me go ahead and fix that. That's a bummer. Let me go ahead and fix this in three-way choice. 3 messages. And that should work now. Would have been a nice memory saving solution, but it is not a solution at all. Alright, and with that, I believe all the scripting is pretty much done for the Fire Dungeon. Wow! We might need to, like, fiddle with the monsters some more, but... yeah. Aside from some possible balancing... this place might be done. Cool. Just to check something else. First off, yeah, each one of these spaces is causing damage. So let's go ahead, still holding circle. We'll get this triggered cutscene. Oh right, that. Yeah, I should take care of that. Remind me to take care of that after we're done with this test. So now, this is no longer causing damage, and neither is all this over here. Cool! Okay, let's go ahead and fix that so the special effect appears on Deristrix. There it is. On the event. So, actually, also, I have a different idea for the timing of the snapshot. Snapshot in the ending. It'll appear there rather than the treasure chest, because we kind of already have a snapshot for whenever we're grabbing treasure. In fact, there's 2 instances of that. Kind of redundant, actually, now that I think about it. So maybe what I'll kind of do here is not have the snapshots whenever we get this treasure. We already have a snapshot whenever we have the hole breaking. So, alright, so let's go ahead and save everything, because now that the dungeon is done, first dungeon. I want to save everything. And we'll just kind of do a test play, a dry run through the dungeon, and see if we get a couple of level ups along the way. We'll go ahead and have the dragon join, sure. Yeah, I probably will go ahead and balance with a dragon in mind, at the very least for the sake of it being interesting to watch, because, hey guys, I'm making this game where you have a dragon as a party member. But I will also want to do a test run where the player does not get the dragon, and see if that is possible. So we'll get that going. I forgot to give Jenny the defensive items, but maybe these guys will just go ahead and blow themselves up. Well, that one kind of tried to, but he already took damage, so didn't have enough HP to do it. That's the glitch spell right now. Alright, get all these on Jenny. More ants. The odds of finding the fire ants is pretty good compared to the other enemies. I might consider changing that. Don't know. So, player comes in here, get the eye stick, go ahead and equip that. And moving on. Now we got the lizard man, woman, lizard woman. Definitely a dangerous foe. Assuming that she doesn't miss. Missing is kind of detrimental towards her everything. So the player will come up here, get into encounter, sure. We'll see how much damage these two are going to cause. Nice. By the way, an interesting thing about killing enemies with critical hits, their death animation is different. Rather than disappear, they are smeared up. Something like that. Basically, the impact is so hard that they smear across the screen instead of simply disappear. It's interesting. There's a level up. So the player probably tries to go there. Can't do anything with that. Well, the only solution seems to be to figure out what's this way. What's this way? Ants. More ants. Plenty of ants. This dungeon is crawling with ants. And we'll see if we gain another level before we're done with this dungeon. Okay, we're getting pretty lucky with the first attacks, I'll tell you what. Although, that miss kind of balances things out just a bit. Not that it matters. There was only 2 ants. Got hammer. What is up here, I wonder? You are cool, I will make you cooler. I might change the pitch of the washing sound so that it is a little bit shorter. That will take some trial and error though, so that's something I can just try on camera. Take these scales and let me join you. Screech. Screw you, I'm a dragon. You should equip the dragon scales. You have a point. Let's go ahead and equip the dragon scales. We'll equip this one. And we'll equip this one. Moving on. I'm kind of curious if we can run into any encounters while we're walking on these events that don't do anything. I feel like no. Because we're walking on top of events, even though the events don't do anything, there's no chance of encounter as we step on these. Something maybe I could consider is scripting these so that maybe there's a small chance that this is what would trigger the whale fight. In any case, now we can go ahead and take the hammer. There's a snapshot. Come over here. Get the blimp. Hooray, this is what I wanted. Now we can fly to the sun. Screech! Okay, fine, you don't have to come with me. And now that we got a third party member, we can encounter even more of these ants. And Daristrix does not have any control. We don't have control of Daristrix. He is his own character. So I'm kind of wondering what he's going to wind up doing here. He uses the fire breath. Cool! And he's already gained a couple of levels there. But what about us? Will we gain another level before we're out of this cave? We may soon find out. And because there's only one enemy left, Daristrix is using physical attack. And sure enough, we gained another level. And made it through the giant's way without getting into a fight with a giant. Maddie Radata is asking why I don't have control of the dragon. I decided that the dragon should be an AI character. He's his own person, sort of. Another level for him. Now, in the case of AI characters, you do have some amount of control over them. If we go into settings and go to plan, we can go through these options here, and here's Daristrix. We can be all, hey, Daristrix, don't use magic. In other words, don't use your flame breath. Or we could say, hey, don't use anything in the bag. Or we could be all, hey, you can go ahead and use stuff from the bag, just as long as it's not a cure item. Offhand, I'm not sure what counts as an aid item, because one would think that curing and aiding would be sort of the same thing. Maybe aid would be like status effects, using the onion. And this plan menu also appears inside battle. I'll go ahead and just show where that is real quick. Get into another encounter, but at the very least, yes, the experience is balanced out in such a way that I gain 2 levels through the dungeon. That is exactly what I wanted. So if we need to plan in battle, it is right here. Same options. It is a really interesting feature in RPG Maker, gotta say. Add some sort of strategy with what you would do. It's also useful if we're using this option right here. There's an auto battle option, which goes on until you hit the cancel button. And our characters will automatically go for whatever will kill the enemies the fastest. unless we use the plan feature to tell them, hey, don't use certain types of things. So with that out of the way, that's pretty much that. I'm gonna do some off-camera tweaking with, like, balancing and that sort of thing. Make sure everything's all hunky-dory there, but otherwise, yeah, we're ready to move on. Which means we need to get a little bit of ground going real quick, just as a tease for what is coming up. So what I'm going to do is head to Buttertown, because we are going to return to Buttertown for the sake of story. I'm going to go ahead and copy the ground here. And I'm going to paste... Where am I going to paste? I'm going to paste... Where do we start at? 0? Okay, so I want to go to 30 then. I'm going to paste at 30. Here we are with the second copy of the town, and it's basically going to be... Well, it'll have seen some better days, I tell you what. Something is kind of, sort of, about to happen. In fact, this is going to be pretty much destroyed. So, goodbye, Fancy Pants Trail. Yeah, this thing's going to happen. And we're going to move on to this town and have a little bit of plot in the next stream. So, with that in mind, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this. Excited that we're finally going to make some forward progress. Yay! I will see you in the next one. My voice is kind of worn out, otherwise I would have put a little more oomph into that yay.